Hello and welcome to this press conference following the informal video conference of EU youth ministers, which was chaired from Berlin today. And we will begin with statements by Federal Minister Franziska Giffey, followed by the EU Commissioner Mariya Gabriel, responsible also for youth. So without much further ado, Frau Ministerin, Sie haben das Wort.
Minister, you have the floor. Yes, thank you, and greetings from Berlin. We had an informal meeting of ministers of youth this morning, and the video conference was utilised to look at the difficult situation that a lot of young people are in Europe at the moment. So the younger generation is very badly affected by the pandemic, not so much in health terms, but in psychological terms, and because of the very many limitations on their daily lives. So young people have taken a hit in that sense and have had to change their daily lives very substantially. It's growing up, many things that are an integral part of growing up at the moment not possible. Meeting friends, traveling, and exchanges, international exchange programs, which is something we specifically talked about today. So it wasn't just about democratic participation, awareness and engagement among young people in Europe, but also how European exchanges can be utilized at this time. Nevertheless, despite the situation, the presidency decided to look at the participation of young people more closely. And there are two outcomes from that process and the video conference today. We had decided already that conclusions on fostering democratic awareness and democratic engagement among young people in Europe would be drawn up, and a conference to feed into that was organized digitally, of course, and many young people participated in that with messages for European ministers. So we looked at all that. I had promised the young people that their input would be taken account of in the Council conclusions, and that's something that we touched on today in the video conference, and it was confirmed. We also looked at a European Youth Work Agenda. There's a resolution on the framework for establishing that, and there will be a youth work convention soon that a lot of stakeholders will take part in, those with political authority or responsibility, but also social workers, young people, and academics, etc. One question is what can we do for people who want to be out and about, who want to be learning languages, who want to be traveling, all of which seems impossible at the moment. Of course, there are digital alternatives. How can they be best utilized to maintain and contacts, create new contacts Europe-wide for young people? Well, of course, personal exchanges and contacts are of particular importance as well, and that's why we want to organize that type of exchange or get it back up and running as soon as possible. And for that, it's very important that youth organizations are maintained, that they are supported, and many colleagues said that there would be national programs to supplement what there is at European level to make sure that such organizations survive. I may say for Germany that we have a 100 million special program set up this year for youth exchanges, or for the organizations that set those up, that organize them, and internationally, that is. So that's underway. It's something that was part of our budget discussions in recent weeks, and it was confirmed that a further 100 million would be made available for youth hostels and other organisations, 25% of which would be for international exchanges specifically. So with our European partners today, we looked, of course, at the financial parameters, what can be done at European level. There are two particular programs. Of course, Erasmus Plus is one, and the Solidarity Corps, which is for volunteer workers. And we made it clear that this type of exchange is not a luxury. It's something that should be available to all young people. Let me conclude by saying that European colleagues also stressed that the younger generations, in their great majority, have acted very responsibly in this crisis. Many have volunteered to help older people in their neighborhoods and in other types of activities. So we need to bear that in mind. There are responsible and irresponsible people, not old and young people in this pandemic. We need to be careful about those distinctions. I'm very grateful that we have been able to support young people at national level as well as European level, and that we've now had a further exchange on what we can do in the forthcoming period so as to make exchanges possible. And then there's Youth in Action and the Solidarity Corps as well. 50 million will be spent on that specifically in Germany, and that's something that or it was information that I shared with colleagues today in the video conference.
Giffey in Berlin, and I would now like to pass the floor to EU Commissioner Mariya Gabriel. You have the floor.
Merci beaucoup. Bonjour à tous.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the German presidency and for the ministers for the very useful discussions we had today. You've said it, young people are very hardly hit by the pandemic of COVID-19, hardly hit by the shutting down of schools and institutions, and also because of the economic spin-off of this pandemic, which is probably going to reduce their job possibilities. Even if they are hardly hit by the crisis, as you've said, Madam Minister, young people have shown tremendous resilience, and they have taken initiatives showing incredible solidarity, despite the very trying times limiting their cross-border travel possibilities. Erasmus Plus and the European Solidarity Corps have made considerable efforts to make alternatives available, including IT alternatives to their activities. We know that this is part of the solution, and it's not ideal, but the idea is that participants can start with their mobility activities using virtual means, and later with real physical mobility abroad. Setting our sights for a recovery after COVID, we will be working on the programs to make our youth programs more inclusive, which is why in 2021 we're going to focus our policies to update them, to work to better eliminate the legal, administrative and financial obstacles that stand in the way of solidarity and cross-border volunteer work. I think we can be inclusive in our quality and recognizing the cross-border experience that we have in the future European solidarity programs. On this point, I'm very pleased, Madam Minister, to have had the opportunity with you to have this exchange with some representatives from young people during our online breakfast. We had very useful discussions on the way to reduce the negative impact of this crisis on young people, and we will continue listening and getting young people involved in our decisions as stakeholders so that they can better benefit from these initiatives if they are better adapted to their interests, their aspirations and experience. Now, in the cooperation in the Council, we talked about the importance of young people participating in formulating policies for a more inclusive policy in Europe. And I would like to thank you in the Presidency for the measures you have taken in order to guarantee inclusive consultation of young people throughout the dialogue in the European Union to benefit young people. One of these participation mechanisms that is of the greatest importance. We can make a real difference in shaping Europe, listening to young people's idea at the negotiation table. And finally, allow me to thank the German presidency for the excellent job it has done and for its determination to see these negotiations through on the co-European Solidarity Programme in good time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Gabriel. We now have time for a few questions. If there are any, please do raise your blue hand and switch on your camera and let me know who you would address your question to. Thank you very much. Well, from what I can see, the presentations were quite exhaustive, so I don't see any questions at this point. I will give you another 5 seconds to raise your hand. This does not seem to be the case, so thank you very much to Berlin, to Minister Giffey, to EU Commissioner Gabriel, to all the interpreters and the technical staff who kept me company in the press room today, and we will see you tonight for the next press conference. Bye-bye.